But the beauty about any healthy cultural exchange is that it's never a one-way process. The beauty about any healthy cultural exchange is that it's always a dialogue. There is always a constant dialogue happening. So if Italian cinema or Italian artists are inspiring Indian filmmakers, Indian artists, then there will also be a counter-cultural experience wherein the Indian storytellers, Indian artists, Indian stories will inevitably have an influence on Italian masters, Italian artists, Italian filmmakers, Italian storytellers. And these two documentaries that you would be watching today are perhaps testament to the fact that cultural exchanges cannot happen in isolation. There will always be a constant dialogue happening. The first documentary that I would like to speak about is the documentary by Roberto Rossellini in 1959. Now, the thing that not many people are aware of is that Rossellini wanted to make a fiction film when he came to India. He was so fascinated by the idea of India, and he had heard about the developments that had started happening in India under its first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, that he wanted to make a fiction film. When he embarked upon a journey to India, was completely different. That was something from an outsider's perspective. But the result, Matribhumi, the documentary and fiction hybrid that came out was very different. It presents India in a completely different light. But the documentary that you will see today is obviously not Matribhumi, but it's something that Rossellini made simultaneously for television. This is actually a part of the 10-part documentary that Rossellini worked upon during his travels of India, and it captures India beautifully. Though the pictures are black and white, but these pictures are very rare, and you will sense a certain empathy in how Rossellini presents India to the Western world. Let's not forget, prior to Rossellini, a lot of the times when Westerners or people from outside came to India, they presented India as the land of jungles, as the land of saints, as the land of servants. But for the first time, here was an outsider who saw India for what it was. And the India that you will see in Rossellini's films, the India that you will see in this particular documentary that you will get to see tonight, is the India that was emerging under Nehru, is the India that was slowly embracing modernity. It was slowly embracing modernism. They were constructing bridges, they were building dams. Western education was empowering the Indians to take up jobs like engineering. They're becoming doctors. So a lot of that was happening in India. That's what makes this very rare. And as the ambassador said, that this is the first time that you will get to see this documentary in India. That's what makes it even more special for you to watch it, and that too under the stars. I think this is really, really special. And the second documentary that you will be watching is another masterwork, this time by another Italian maestro. It's Pasolini, this time at work, and it's called Notes for a Film in India. Now, another interesting story that some of you might have not heard is that Pasolini too wanted to make a fiction film in India. So he came to India and he was so empowered by the idea of Bandung. Because let's not forget, in the 50s, there were these two power blocks. There was US at one hand, there was USSR at the other hand. So all the world was going through a constant upheaval. There were power struggles, there was a constant battle of one-upmanship. So a lot of these intellectuals, Pasolini included, were disillusioned by the idea of this world which was governed by two powers and each trying to snatch the power from the other. In this point in time, the non-aligned countries came as a hope, and it was during this conference in Bandung, the group of newly independent Asian and African countries, they got together and they thought that we will recreate our world, but we will not lose our identity. We'll keep our civilizational values intact, and at the same time, we will embrace modernity without getting attached to one of these power blocks. So those were the ideals that inspired a young Pasolini. This was what happened in 1955, but when Pasolini came to India in 1968 and he embarked upon making this film, unfortunately that film never happened. But in the process of embarking upon that journey, Pasolini ended up making a short documentary, which you will see. That's why it's called Notes for a Film in India. It's a 33-minute documentary, and in that Pasolini interviews horde of Indian intellectuals. He interviews K. Abbas, he interviews Rakesh Singh Bedi, the Urdu writer, he interviews a Maharaja, he interviews a Maharani, he interviews politicians, and he asks them, probes them about the idea of modernization. He questions them that is it what that was supposed to happen? Is the spirit of Bandung intact, or somewhere the modernity or these cultural changes that were happening had somewhat sabotaged them? Now let's not forget that here is a Pasolini who is a little more cynical than he was when he first got fascinated by the idea of Bandung, the idea of the so-called third world, the idea of non-aligned countries. So Pasolini is a little pessimistic here. This is 1968, remember. This is no longer a young Pasolini, and we see a lot of questioning here. He's inquiring people. He gets hold of this young boy who belongs to one of the backward caste, and he asks him, what do you think? Do you think that in this country will you ever have a future? Will you ever be able to become a president of this country? And to his great surprise, the young boy says, yes, I am sure that one day I'll be able to become the president of this country. So Pasolini gets a huge wake-up moment for him, because this was now a counter idea balancing his own thought that is India losing its individuality. But the answer given by this child reminds him that probably India is still keeping its identity intact. So there's a constant tussle in this documentary whether India is still enduring, that spirit of Bandung is still alive while it is also embracing modernity. So there's a constant back and forth dialogue. And you will also see that actor who was supposed to play a Maharaja who gives up his life because he wants to save a starving tiger. So you will also see that actor in this documentary. It's our bad luck that that film could never be realized, but this document stands a witness, it stands a testament to Pasolini's, great humanity, to Pasolini's vision and his belief in India and what it can be. So I think both these documentaries, if you watch them back to back, they open up a whole new avenue, they open up a whole new world. And just imagine how invested Italy has always been in India, whether it's 1959 with Rossellini making that film about Nehruvian India, or whether it's 1968 with Pasolini making this great dialogue. This is what I think we are celebrating today. This is what needs to be celebrated. Thank you so much.